Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to Time with Jesus and Truck Talk and Car Talk and Home Talk and whatever talk it may be, but it's surely going to give glory to God and Jesus. Sometimes in our darkest times, in the hour that we fall down, and literally I fell down, but, you know, overcoming pain has always been kind of easy for me. I mean, whether it was heart pain or physical body pain or getting out of the ring and spending a few days recuperating from that pain. And it never really bothered me much younger, but, I think about sometimes over and over that day falling on that ice and just sitting there wondering, man, if the yard person doesn't look down the aisle and he goes to pull that trailer next to me, my legs would have been under that, basically from my middle of my groin area down, that I would have been ran over. And it's crazy because when you think about this stuff and you put this stuff in motion, and I know sometimes questions are asked even about injuries, well, why did you wait until you came back? And my whole thing was, I talked to the safety manager, and we made this deal, and I kind of thought I was going to get routed back from where I was taking that loaded trailer, and being the fact that I was assigned to it, I'm thinking, okay, no big deal from there to there. It was only like about a 5-hour distance drive back. And before you know it, that's Monday, and you go into Tuesday. At that point, I'm on my way back, and I spent a couple days at home Wednesday and Thursday, and it was kind of late too, even Tuesday, getting wrapped up, and question of things. I always like to make sure that before I even put a claim or before I do anything, I want to make sure that it's not just something that got stretched a little bit or anything like that. But I picked up that load Friday morning, and I told them, I said, well, let me see what happens, because I haven't been in a big truck in a couple of days. And if there's no reaction in what I'm feeling, it still hurt. Don't get me wrong. There was still pressure. That it still hurt. And it was still uncomfortable, to the point of you just can't take it. I mean, and that's where I drew the line. And I told him, I said, get me something coming back, whether it's empty call. I was coming back empty with an empty trailer anyways, but I was supposed to go to another place and then over to another place. But long story short, your faith will be tested, people. I'm telling you, and it's really kind of amazing, because last night, even sitting there and just kind of going over things in my head with things and family and friends and stuff like that. Not that I really have a lot of friends. I mean, honestly, I don't really consider really having much of friends, to be honest. I can't think of anybody that I would really sit down and want to come over and hang out with or anything like that, or even have anything in common with people anymore. I think about a person that I knew years ago that came back into my life, but a lot of that still is too. It's a lot of my old days, and I'm glad that he received the Lord, and I'm glad that he's doing well in his life. And I even told him, I said, I don't expect much out of this, and we talked back and forth a little bit, and I just kind of leave it at that, and it's like, then I got a message from my daughter, my youngest daughter, and wow, I mean, it's just, she pretty much admitted, that she lied about me because she was hurt. And I said, well, even being hurt doesn't give you the rights to rip somebody down and to see all the comments people were saying about you. And I guess in a long part of it, my second oldest sister was involved in it too. And, and what she said to me was, oh, great. I hope that I don't get blocked. Not the fact of what they were saying about me, the fact that she never stuck up for me. It's the fact that she was more worried about getting blocked from people and the crazy, stupid stuff they were saying about me. I mean, she did say to the fact, well, maybe he didn't see you. Oh, yes, he knew my car and blah, blah, blah. Then she turns around and tells me, well, I seen you drive by the gas station. Well, and I know some of you are probably thinking, well, where's he going with this? You know, sometimes we can say stuff out of hurt and anger, but it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right when it destroys someone's life. You know, there is a thing called cyberbullying, and spreading your version of the truth on there is devastating to people. I've had a lot over the last 4 years now that people have said about me, and not one, you know what got me, and not one person questioned me. You know, they just took what they heard and ran with it. I mean, family members, people that I haven't talked to in a long time, and people that I used to work with. I mean, it comes down to where you go, are you serious right now? But I look at it and go, what are my daily prayers? My daily prayer is for the Lord to remove anything out of my life that is no good for me, that's going to keep me from Him, that I don't care what it is, person, place, things, objects, which goes under things, but you know, your desires, your wishes, your dreams, any of that, you know. So you really got to look at what's going on. You know, we put all of our faith and hope in Donald Trump, and all along I've been saying Donald Trump isn't going to do it. You know, we got to keep prayer. We have to keep that prayer and focus on Jesus. Jesus is the only one that can do anything right now. You know, we're in a bad place in life. We have tarnished God's name. We allowed this nonsense to enter into schools where they were showing kids how to use adult toys and taking down American flag but putting up the gay pride flag. And I know a lot of you don't agree with that, and I know, but here's the thing. We go against people. We stand up for the rights when people start burning our flag. We will go and protest that all night and day, but we did not protest the fact that I nowhere have I seen anybody protesting against them taking down the American flag in there and saying the Pledge of Allegiance because under one nation, under God. Well, isn't that what these soldiers are fighting for? One nation under God? But no, I just was told not too long ago that by a Marine, home on leave, that they took in that under God, you know, I think it used to be God, core, family, something, I forget what he said was, but I know it was something in that order, but they took in God out of that equation. Well, that's sad, because I'd still be saying that I don't care if they put me in federal prison, because without God, you're sitting ducks out there. And then I heard that we just brought back some of the astronauts that's been up in space that I remember people asking Biden about it. And there was nothing ever done. I can't falsely accuse. I don't remember quietly what he said, but I know it was to the point of, obviously, they're just now coming back. It's amazing to me. I mean, it's totally amazing how we sit back and we stand for this. And I think about all the veterans. You know, I look at today's people when they come home compared to Vietnam. You know, they got spit on and everything else, and all they were doing was going over there. Now, yes, some of them volunteered. Some of them were drafted into it. My dad volunteered because he wanted out of the household that he was in. He wanted away from this stuff, and he figured that was the best route to go. Did it change him? Yeah. Did he see things and have to survive in ways that we would probably never have to survive in? I mean, even living on the streets, in a way, it was a jungle. It was a battle of survival, people. I survived because of strength and hope. But even then, I didn't have the strength and hope of God or Jesus. You know, it was still far from me. See, people underestimate the power of this darkness that lurks around everywhere. You forget about the darkness. You know, they don't call it the dark web for nothing, people. I mean, think about it. You know, even the stuff we watch, even the things that we look at, you know, it comes to a point that, are you satisfied that God is satisfied? You know, would you do this stuff if you were in heaven and you had a phone in your hand or a computer? would you do these things in heaven? And I know a lot of you may say, well, well, you're going to be doing screaming in hell. I guarantee it. I've never heard a quiet person in hell. I've never seen tears that were burning people's faces in hell. I mean, I have not seen these things. I've seen it. Um, it's amazing how we overlook hell as this Disneyland or Disney World, whatever you want to call it. And, I'm against Disney. I mean, there was a time that I really wanted to go see that new Star Wars thing that had the Millennium Falcon and all that. And then I looked at the price, even with a driver's license state, and I was a resident of Florida. I still couldn't justify paying that kind of money. Now today is a little bit different. Again, prayer. I've been trying to keep you guys updated on prayer, and Darlene's getting that strong relationship back with her granddaughter, her two daughters, and and sometimes I question, even like the other day, I'm like, what I don't understand? I don't understand when people reach out to you when they need something, but they don't reach out, they don't come by. I mean, they drive past here and still don't stop and see their mother or nothing like that. But as soon as she's gone, it's like the very same people that passed by in their daily lives were so important with their friends. They're the ones up here at the funeral places throwing an Oscar award winning show. And I'm not saying they're not grieving. I'm just saying why? Why cry now? You chose it. And I think about the children in my life, and I'm thinking, whatever. When I'm gone, it's too late. I mean, it's the bottom line. That's just it. Being falsely accused, and think about it. I think about Darlene's granddaughter being bullied, and it just breaks your heart. To go through a sweet little person like that goes through life loving people and wanting to go to church and everything else, but she's denied. Can you think about the denial that they're doing to that child that God is going to punish? I mean, and he don't even have to punish you. You're punishing yourself. I know everything I do on this earth, if I end up in hell, it's my own fault. It's my own fault that I'm being punished the way I'm being punished in hell, because it's my own fault. And I had a person ask me a few months ago, well, what about if I only did one sin? Well, as far as I know, that's the only sin you're going to be judged on. But you're going to be judged on it over and over and over and over, because you're going to be tortured by that demon over and over and over. So you don't get a get out of jail free card and get tortured every so many days. No, you're going to be tortured 24 hours in our existence of time. But in hell, there is no time. Just that stupid clock that just ticks and ticks and ticks and don't ever move. Ironically, what I find amazing is I hear people talking about the ticking clock, and when I ask them, what does the clock look like? Because they said they were in the room. And I said, what does the clock look like? And they can't answer it. So I question the fact that, why can't they answer it? There's people out here going to deceive you. There's people out here that's on here for the numbers. There's people on here doing whatever they want to do, and there's people just want to come against you no matter what you do. It blows my mind. It truly does. It truly does, that when things go wrong, people always want to point the finger. In reality, I say go look in the mirror. Because there's truth behind everything that we do. I mean, you have to understand that God is truth. Satan is a lie. Satan comes under Lucifer, which is the deceiver of all things and the father of lies. I didn't say it. Jesus said it. It's in the Bible. Look it up. So, it's been a lot of back and forth, up and down with Walmart. Unbelievable. I mean, I honestly, it seemed like December 20th, that's the day that I went to the hospital. So you figure the 19th to 18th, it would have been the 17th at that point when I initially got hurt. And 2019, 18, 17, 16, the 15th, I'm sorry, the 15th. And I just now got approval few days ago to go see these specialists. Still no approval on, and it's amazing that the stuff that the Walmart workman's comp, it's not, I mean, I'm sure they got to go into the federal guidelines of things, but it's still a Walmart insurance. Walmart is self-insured, so their workman's comp is self-insured through the company, which isn't, it's not unnatural for that to be. I mean, I worked at a few other places that were all company insured, Crete Carrier being one of them. But it's amazing, how people think they're closing doors or putting you on the blacklist or the black ball, whichever the company likes to say, because they look at you and don't want to look at the truth. I mean, when you do try to bring the truth to them, they don't want to hear it. It's better that, well, you're gone type thing. And the sad part is these companies don't ever get a clue. They still allow the wrong people to be in place. How many times is it going to take before somebody gets seriously hurt? And I think back on the days that I drove them trucks and that thing was locking up, and I've had the shop manager there at Crete go, hey, I don't even want to see him because I'm not the one fixing it. I don't care. I care because that damn thing locked up on me. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And the last time it did it, it locked up in the middle of the damn road. And luckily, the truckers that were coming, and it was truckers, they seen my flashers come on, and I hurried up, put my turn signal on. And once I started coming over, I finished putting my flashers on because I didn't think I was going to make it off the side of the road. There was an exit, and I barely made it past that and off the road enough to where I was out of the way. I didn't even get out and put my triangles up because I was scared to do it. That's how close I was to the white line and that exit. No way was I going out to do that. Wasn't going to do it. Nope. And that's just common sense. Somebody could say, well, I was scared. You can call me whatever you want. It was common sense that I'm not going out there and dying to put triangles up, because unless a big truck hit me, I wouldn't have probably even known it. But you look at it and go, where are you at in your thoughts? What are you thinking about that we can't fix? I talked to my son last night for a little bit, and it was good to actually hear from him. I had my alerts and stuff turned off, and I keep forgetting to turn it back on, and before you know it, like the other day, I looked at there and I had messages on there and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I better get on here and start answering some of these people. And it just amazed me just sitting there talking with him and hearing his thoughts on things, and I'm thinking, I agreed with him for most of it, but he says, he wants that life back to where he can come over and see me and the grandkids and stuff like that. And I'm thinking in my head going, well, the only person stopping you is you. I know the truth. And I finally just said, okay, whatever. I'm not begging people to be in my life, and I'm okay. I'm truly okay with it. Even if we just have a phone relationship, then it's a phone relationship. I have no problems with that. I have no problems with what God wants. I ask God to restore whatever in my life and to do that. But you got to be willing to let God do it, people. You got to be willing to let the Lord lead you and let things go. You can't hold these hardships. You can't hold these grudges, because God will hold it against us. How many times I hear people do communion when you ask them, do you know if you got a hardship or something bad holding against someone, that God will hold that against you? It falls under, how you judge, you will be judged. It falls under that same category. So what is more important today in your life? Peace. I for once have a peace in my life that it took a long time to get there. And when I mean by the last 4 years of going through all this, and yes, I hear Darlene, and and she's like, sometimes I think people forget about me, and I'm like, no, I don't forget about you. I know you're going through the same stuff and the same crap that you got to hear. I mean, these are your kids, these are my kids accusing me of things, and And reality is when we sit down and talk about it and things through the conversation, things are brought up. I mean, the light bulb goes off and goes, well, then how do you explain that? How do you explain things that we tend to block out because we don't want to hear it? And that's exactly what's happening. The enemy keeps you weighed down and tied down and beaten and battered and destroyed. But I'm telling you, what difference does it make? So what I guess gives them the rights to go on social media and to blast a bunch of stupid stuff out that may or may not be, but people believe it and people comment, and then people come against you and say rotten things about you, and and then when you bring it out, and and the last response I ever thought I was going to hear, well, because I was mad at you, I'm hurt by you. I'm sorry, I'm hurt by you. And I said, really? So every time I'm hurt by you, I can go on social media and tear you down? Is that what you're pretty much saying? Does two wrongs make a right here? I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous to even think that something like this is possible, but it happens more and more. I watched a video a while back on cyberbullying, and I started thinking about Darlene's granddaughter, and yesterday on the phone, I had to explain why I say Darlene's granddaughter, because I accept what God has done, and I told, even from the beginning, I told her youngest daughter exactly what she was going to do, and she swore up and down, no, 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 no. And I let my guard down, people, and that's where I'm mad at myself. And I trusted man when I normally never trusted man. And it's nothing against it. I mean, I have a lot of trust in my wife, but do I have it to where I think that she's never going to make a mistake or say something that's going to hurt me or do something? No, that's foolish. And if she thinks that I'm never going to say something or have a way or do something wrong, I mean, then that's foolish. I mean, I try not to hurt her. I try not to, if I'm hurting or tired, and I don't make excuses for it. I just flat out, I'm to the point now where I tell her I'm in a lot of pain today, or I'm tired today, or I'm hungry and I'm just miserable right now. I try to tell her that so it stops any falseness from breaking in and having a footstool. You understand what I'm saying? You got to stop the enemy before the enemy gets a foothold. All he needs is that little fine hair line in that door, and he's in. It's up to you what you let through that door. So I don't know. I've been doing a lot of thinking about, and I really, I guess what really got me thinking about it, the doctor I'm going to tomorrow for my knee, which doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, really doesn't make sense to go to a knee doctor above, I mean, I don't know the name of them. I mean, it's one does the bone, I guess, and the other one does the spinal and the back and all that. But I'm not seeing them until I think the 23rd of this month. And they're asking me, do you feel surgery would probably be the best bet and all this stuff? And I'm thinking, yeah, at this point, I don't see how you're going to fix anything without surgery. And I'm the last person that wants to go to surgery. And I'm the last person who wants to go through surgery. So I sit there and I think about that going, but how much sense does it make to go see this doctor, even if he agrees that surgery is necessary? Now, here's my question, I guess, is, and I'm going to ask this tomorrow, if that's what it comes down to, do you think it's wise to do surgery on my knees now and to try to make me go through therapy that I can barely stand and squat and do all these things that they're going to try to make me do? Or am I going to be laying down and they're going to do bends on my knees and something? I mean, how does exactly will this work? Because I'm just saying, it's the last thing I need is more pain. And I'm kind of really disappointed in Walmart for allowing me to be in this pain. And finally, I mean, I got to a point where, like I said, I had to reach out to my HR department just to get them to do something with this, to get answers. I mean, who just does this? I mean, it really makes me go like, all this hoorah stuff that they put through you about drivers and drivers and drivers, it's almost like brainwashing you to believe something that isn't true. Now, today, I don't believe any of that. I don't believe any of that crap that they said to us. None. I truly don't. And honestly, other than calling and talking with someone or anything, because bids came open. And a bid at Walmart is basically you bid on another lane that you could have a different day, depart day, and a different go home day. But my thing is, I wasn't allowed to bid, but I got to speak to the manager over that, and he was talking to me, asked me how I was doing. But other than that, if I didn't have to call in, would I ever hear from any of them? I haven't heard from the general manager there, anybody. And it's like, wow, it's like you're out of sight, out of mind. You're only as good as the day you're holding that steering wheel. And I was all my life, even driving, I always heard Walmart, the best company in the world to work for. You made it when you got into Walmart. And man, when they were telling us about the white shirts and all this stuff, and being proud and this, and man, I remember when my uniforms came in, and I first went with the white shirts, and then I was like, I'm going with the blue ones, because the white shirts get dirty so fast, and I don't like dirt and stuff all over me. And then I don't know, you just it just looks like you don't care, And I always try to dress professional and look nice out there, and not be all dirty and nasty looking getting out of a truck, because truckers get enough bad names, and unfortunately we allow it. And then I'm sitting there thinking yesterday, I stumbled across my Walmart uniform, and I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking, I am no different than that folded up dirty shirt. And that's how I feel with Walmart. That's how I felt like I've been treated for the last few months. And I remember last year, not the Christmas just passed, but 2 Christmases back, going up there, and you got this little bag, and it had some candy and stuff in it, and I think it had gloves or something. I don't quite remember. And I was sitting there thinking about this year, going, "Oh, I wonder if they did anything for us this year or anything." And I was thinking, well, if they did, I'm sure that somebody would call me and go, "Hey, if you're up this way, we have this gift for you, whatever." It's not about the gift, people. It's about, say as you do and do as you say. And they expect us to do as we say, but I just really felt like I wasn't important, like I don't matter. And that's how I feel. That's how I feel that, how I feel at Walmart. And unfortunately, it's sad, but it's true. All this, don't be seen in another store with your uniform on. If somebody takes a picture and goes viral and we see it, we're going to demote you, promote you back to, or demote you or whatever. I don't know what it is, but back to customer. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? I mean, I can't help it if I'm on my way home and my wife says something, and I got a grocery store 2 feet from me. It's called Acme's. And yeah, it's a little overpriced on their stuff, because it's more of a big, glorious, convenience store, I guess. But and I was getting my medicine filled there, but it was costing me almost $4 out of my pocket each time I got my medicine filled. And then they sent me a card, and I can only use Sam's or Walmart. Well, I'm thinking, how am I going to go into Sam's if I don't have a Sam's card? Are they going to let me walk in there and still get my medicine? I mean, but then the nearest Sam's is too far. But I'm thinking, I'm in that much pain, and now I got to have my wife drive to a Walmart when I could go right over there. Do I just suck it up and pay the $4? I don't know. I'm just thinking in my head, going, you got to go in your mind what's important and what's not important. It's $4 worth the gas to go down to Walmart. Is it worth her time? And I know she would do it, and I know there ain't a doubt in my mind. I mean, if you ever want to know if the person you are with is with you or for another reason, she's been by my side through all this, and I know she's exhausted at times taking the puppy out and doing all that, and plus cooking and cleaning and doing everything she's been doing, plus taking care of me. And it's crazy. I mean, it's to a point where it starts messing with your mental thoughts and stuff, and that's where I got to battle the demons even more and trust and rely on God. You know, it makes you feel less as a person. But it's the fact too that I know she's going through a lot, going through all this, and I know that she feels the same way I do about the time and everything that it's taken Walmart to do anything. But look at us. Look how long it takes us to do some stuff with God. You know, yeah, how disappointed is God in us at times? You know, you have to think about these things. You know, to think about your children. You know, do you promise your kids stuff and never fulfill it? I think back in my life going, I think I pretty much fulfilled everything that I've ever promised my kids or done for my kids, and I did the best by them. I tried to raise them the best I could. I tried to make each holiday spectacular for them and let them enjoy life and their childhood. You know, in a sick way, I kind of lived childhood through kind of like them. But, you know, I even look around this basement and look around at the shelves and you know, I know I talk about this room a lot, but it's kind of my peace. You know, I think about all my adventures to the Goodwill bins, and 90%, I would say 90% of this stuff down here is from the Goodwill bins, and it's just amazing. I mean, I couldn't, even for what I pay for this, all this stuff, I could not go out and buy this stuff for what I have invested into this stuff. And it's just amazing. You know, but I thank God, you know, I thank God for blessing me. And I honestly, people, I don't feel like I deserve God's blessings. You know, I never thought I was worthy. You know, I never thought I was worthy of getting a gift. And I know people at birthday parties, they open their presents in front of people, and Darlene's family does that, and I just never wanted to do it, you know, because I felt like, I don't know, weird, you know, especially when you really never really got a birthday present in years. You know, it's kind of difficult to deal with. You know, you just kind of let it go. But I realized that no matter what I go through in life, that God has never forsaken me, or Jesus never stopped loving me, even when the world has. And I guess that's why I kind of look at the world today in a different light. And I kind of look at it going, man will always disappoint you. And companies will disappoint you. And you can't go off of the belief that they have your best interest, because that's by far not true. You know, a lot of, even the video I did about, you know, the trucking industry and stuff, and I kind of felt like I wanted to do a follow-up on it to really go into detail about some of this stuff. But, you know, bottom line, do your homework on everything. Any job you're going to switch into, you know, trucking industry is just a hard life, man. It's just a hard business. It's you know, they expect your 2 weeks notice, but they can fire you at a drop of a dime. That's any place. They want a 2 weeks notice, but when they're ready to get rid of you, they don't give you 2 weeks notice. So I really, you know, I'm one of them people that says, when people say, well, I didn't give a 2 weeks notice, I'm not. There's a few places I just walked out of. I had no more respect for the place, and it was a nursing home. I had no more respect for that administrator than I could care to shake a. Actually, he got me to the point that bad thoughts were coming, and I'm like, man, he's not worth it. We're moving anyway, so I don't even care about this job, nor would I ever go back to that place. Well, I shouldn't say never, because I don't know what God will do or won't do. You know, I think with the administrator gone and the right people, the right people they had there, they treated my dad very well, and I'm thankful for that. And I did get a chance to thank him, even going to pick him up, just how nice they were to him, and making sure his stuff was put away when, because I was going to go back and hang his stuff up, and they said, no, we'll do it for you. And I'm just glad that the last days that my dad had, that he was around good people and not at that butcher shop that he was at, because it's a union place, and union. One thing that I come up with: union should not be involved with the healthcare service deal in any kind of hospitals, nursing homes, any of that. I think unions have no rights to be in there, because that pretty much gives these people the rights to be lazy in someone's health. What I should have done is sued the crap out of that place for neglect, and but I didn't, and then I find out later on it happened again to somebody else. Honestly, that's sad, and I could have done something. Maybe God put him there long enough for me to do something. I remember the first nursing home that I worked in, and what I seen that night, and yeah, it upset me. Yeah, I did scream, and yeah, I did tell him I did scream, and I said, but I know what they were talking about. And again, it falls back. I was the wrong on one thing, and even the one MDS nurse, I forget her name at this point, but even she said, well, you're just a maintenance supervisor. You have no business talking to people like that. Well, then if I'm just a maintenance supervisor, then why do I have to give up my weekends to come in here and sit and be a manager in charge if I have no authority? Then you all should do it. And that's kind of where I left it. And I was like, I'm not doing it. And as far as I can recall, I don't ever remember going back there on the weekend. I was usually there on the weekend anyways. And if I was there, some of them we were there, I said, well, you can just go home. I'm here anyway. So if something happens, I'll just call you and let you deal with it. And I think, dang. Huh. Well, now I remember where I put that. When something falls over and you're like, the heck is that? But I don't know. It's the Lord's been pruning a lot out of me and binding that stuff up and tossing it into hell where it belongs. And I'm thankful. I really, truly am thankful. I'm blessed. And I'm just hoping this pain lets off and I can enjoy a full day without being afraid to move. And the bad thing is I've been sitting here toying back and forth whether I should speak with a representative like a lawyer or somebody, and I'm not fearful of them taking my job. I truthfully am not. I don't really even care if they do let me go, to be honest with you. But I'm thinking, is that normal? Because they're self-insured, that I have to suffer through pain and still wait till the 23rd. At the end, you realize at the 23rd of this month, I will have been 2 months in pain and just now starting to receive an actual person that has the say whether or not I'm going to need surgery or not. But then I'm thinking in my head going, how long is that going to take before they approve it? I mean, they still haven't even approved therapy. Not that I think therapy is a good idea. It's kind of like fixing my knee and then making me go through therapy where I can't do any of that stuff. So, I mean, how do you go through a surgery and then have to do therapy after if the rest of you isn't fixed? I just think it's twisted somehow down the line. I mean, I don't get it, but I'm just grateful that I'm able to go see somebody. So I don't know. You think about life and you think about where we are, and people, I'm just telling you to pray for this government, pray for the nations, Pray for these leaderships. Pray for these pastors. Pray for these husbands that they come back and take charge of their family. Sorry, I was just looking at that phone call. We need to be in prayer. Pray for these schools. Pray for these superintendents. Pray for these things to end. We can do it by prayer. Matter of fact, tonight at the new church that we just started, awesome place. I mean, just awesome people, and it's national. We're going to pray for the governments and stuff. We're going to pray for our country, and just for God to be over it. And anybody that's you're having problems, man, just give it to God, and just I don't know where my journey's going to go, but I felt enough that I could sit here long enough besides twitching and doing everything else. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update and my general thoughts on things. And just let you know I'm still alive. I appreciate any of you that are praying. I appreciate the people watching and thumbs up and sharing or whatever you're doing. As I always said, this is our channel, so leave a comment. I have read them. I have not got a chance to answer any of them. I mean, I've had plenty of opportunity, trust me, but I'm not physically there yet, people. I'm still battling some things, and I'm getting through it, and it's day by day by day, and I just want the pain to be done. I mean, as hard as it is to say, I sit and think about pain, and I think about my life. This is by far worse than anything I've gone through. I mean, and anybody that's been on this channel long enough from the beginning of this channel to where I'm at today, speaking with you, I think some of you would probably agree with me going, wow, because I've seen it. I've seen some pain in my days, and but I mean, honestly, if I had to trade the pain I'm going through today for what I went through back then, I would take back then over today, and that 100%. I wouldn't even give it a second thought. I would revisit everything to not have to go through what I'm going through. And I know some of you may say, well, you better be careful because the devil has authority, and when he only has authority if I give it to him. He only has authority if I give it to him. See, too many people are giving the devil the authority in their lives. Too many people are giving authority in their children's life, and too many people are giving authority in their relationships, in their household, and everything else, because we are so consumed by what's glued to the palm of our hands or what's on that television than give God any time. So that being said, God bless you. We're about 43 minutes, so I'm going to cut this thing loose. God bless you guys. I love you, and I'll see you on the next one.